You know what time it is, right? It's time to get diabolical about fantasy basketball. And if you want to win your league this year, you better listen to the guru. And I'm about to have the best video you've ever seen. And you will win if you watch the next 30 minutes or so. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen. It's Ola. Only legends allowed. Please like, comment, get in those comments, and let's talk some junk and subscribe to the channel. First on the docket, the Atlanta Hawks. My favorite part about doing this video today is definitely the fact that I'm doing it in alphabetical order, and the Atlanta Hawks are my favorite team to pick players from for fantasy basketball this year. The East is weak. Trae Young pushes the pace, and anytime I'm picking a team or players from a team for fantasy basketball, I want to make sure that what do? I want to make sure that they push the pace. Why? More points, more rebounds, more assists, more steals, more blocks. Yes, there might be more turnovers, but that's an equation that you'll have to figure out when you pick certain players. If you get Trae Young in the first round, throw your turnovers away. That's okay. You have a lot to build on with players like that. And the Atlanta Hawks, my two favorite players are Okongwu and my boy, the legend himself, Dyson Daniels, Great Barrier Reef. Those are my two favorite players from the team. Capella is no longer there. We have to watch out for Jalen Johnson and his health issues. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker could definitely step in and play a big role because Jalen Johnson's health is always a question. And then we have Porzingis, who got acquired and is playing for Atlanta, but he hasn't played over 45 games in a season in I don't even know how long. So you go pick the center from the Hawks, you go get the Great Barrier Reef, and you count your shillings at the end of the season. On to the Boston Celtics. You know what? I can do this off the top of the head. The Boston Celtics, you're another team that I love this year in fantasy basketball. Why? I love you for the wrong reasons. Your franchise player is recovering from an Achilles injury, and that's going to open up a lot of usage for other players. I'm going to give you my gem of the season right off the bat in the first, 3 minutes of the video? I don't know where we're at yet, but there's two gentlemen on the Celtics that you need to make sure you have your eye on, and you got to get one of the two on your team, and that's Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser. They got rid of Porzingis, Drew Holiday is gone, and Jason Tatum is injured. There's going to be so much usage opening up for Pritchard and Hauser, so make sure that you have one of those two, if not both of those two, on your roster. Sam Hauser is way later in the average draft position. His ADP is way later, so hopefully no one else in your draft watches this video and you can get him as the last pick. But he's going to be raining threes all year. And, you know, anytime a player is competing for a contract and competing to survive in the league, those are the guys you want in fantasy, because at the end of the season, when all the injuries happen and teams are tanking and all that BS, you're going to want Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser on your team because they're gamers. Okay, on to the next team. The next team on the docket is the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to keep this one very quick. Nick Claxton, he's the second highest paid player on the roster next to Michael Porter Jr. He's the only player I would pick on that team. Cam Thomas, I love him, but it feels like there's some sort of blackballing going on with him. So I don't know how comfortable I'd feel drafting him. But Nick Claxton, those blocks, those rebounds, that field goal percentage, you might have to throw away free throw percentage because he's a horrible free throw shooter, but that's okay. These are, if whatever strategy you have, you pick 6 out of the 9 categories, you lock in on those, and the only player that I'd be drafting right now on the Brooklyn Nets is Nick Claxton. The next team on the docket, the Charlotte Hornets. This team is an absolute shambles. If you ever draft LaMelo Ball in fantasy, you're out of your mind. I love the kid. I've seen his growth. He's a YouTube legend, all that stuff. You're the guy, LaMelo, but there's no winning going on there. And at the end of the season, you know, you can get a Grant Williams if you want off of waivers, or Canoople, or, you know, who they just drafted. That's the type of team they are. Brandon Miller, he had the wrist surgery in the offseason. Maybe Miles Bridges will go off, but yeah, stay away from Charlotte for the most part. If you get some good bargains for Miles Bridges, no problem. Take them and watch out for Knuble at the end of the season because he's going to be raining threes too. Next team, the Chicago Bulls. Yeah, that's another team that I love because I still can't believe that the Spurs traded away the 8th pick, Merce, to the Timberwolves when they had 4 and 8. They could have had Matas Bazulis, who is Lithuanian, I believe, but was born and raised in Chicago.
Perfect power forward, shoots the ball, all that stuff. He came on. Pause, Ayo.
Matas Bazulis, he had an amazing end to the season because he was able to get a lot of usage down the stretch, and he was a rookie. So along with Sam Hauser, Matas Bazulis is definitely a late-round pick that I 1,000% have to get. Even a guy like Kevin Huerter, he doesn't turn the ball over. He gets you threes. He's a great field goal percentage shooter. And, a guy like that, he's amazing at the back end of the draft if Sam Hauser is gone. And, Chicago Bulls are another team that I definitely love this year. Kobe White, you're an absolute beast. But the major piece that you need to have on your fantasy basketball team this year is Matas Bazulis from the Chicago Bulls. On to the next team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, Darius Garland, health issues. Love him, health issues. Ty Jerome is gone. Donovan Mitchell, legend. I am reluctant to pick him, but Jared Allen is always a go-to in fantasy. You can never go wrong with drafting Jared Allen. He's top 20 every year. He usually plays every game. And he's amazing for sure when it comes to value because people usually don't take him too high. Even though last year, my brother Prophet decided to take him, I believe he had the 14th pick in the league, so he decided to take 15th overall. He took Jared Allen, who I believe finished top 20. So everyone's like, who would pick Jared Allen that high in the draft? Well, guess what, Prophet? You made a great pick with that one, and Jared Allen is the man. But Evan Mobley, I don't know if you saw Merce, but he put on like 20 pounds. He looks cheesed. He looks angry. And because of his demeanor and how calm he is and quiet he is, Evan Mobley is definitely someone that if you pick him on your team this year, you can feel very confident. He just got his extension, I believe. He's one of the highest paid players on the team, I believe, next to Donovan Mitchell. That stuff plays a big role in fantasy, how much guys are getting paid. The Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard stuff. When guys get injured or trades happen, it opens up usage for all these players. So keep that in mind through the whole season and pick your spots carefully. Wow. The next team is the Dallas Mavericks. Anthony Davis, if I get a top 10 pick and like 8th pick or 7th pick, the top 5 picks, I love. I love Jokic, I love Wemby, I love Giannis, I love Luka, I love Shea. But I'm the commissioner of all my leagues. I like to be a leader, do my thing, whatever. And guess what happens? I always get a late pick usually. I haven't had an early pick in the last 10 years, and that's okay. The first person that I think if I had 8th, 9th, or 10th pick, and people are reluctant to pick Anthony Davis because of his injury history, but with everything going on with the Dallas and LA trade and just everyone wanting to prove the other wrong, if Anthony Davis is going to have one more elite fantasy season, it's going to be this year. So, Anthony Davis, if I pick you in the first round, please don't let me down, Glass Man. But you'll never be as bad as Joel Embiid, so it's okay. Don't pick Joel Embiid, guys. Don't pick Paul George and Joel Embiid. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, and by the way, Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, if you're getting Anthony Davis, make sure you go get those guys as an insurance policy. And also PJ Washington is a legend. I believe he's going to have a great season this year without Kyrie there. And they got D'Angelo Russell also. So if you want to pick up D'Angelo Russell because the first half of the season he's going to be the starting point guard for Dallas, I don't knock it. I wouldn't do it, but I'll stick to Anthony Davis and Gafford and Lively when it comes to the Mavericks. Next team, the Denver Nuggets. I have 2 words for you. Nikola Jokic. And that's it. Moving on to the next team, the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham, you're a beast. If I can't get Anthony Davis, I'm probably going to pick you. Then we have my boy Ausar Thompson, Amon's brother. I love the twins. They're both incredible. I think he's going to have an incredible year. And late, if I don't get Sam Hauser and the boys, the late round picks, Duncan Robinson might be a late round flyer. I don't know, but that's the inclination I'm getting, that he's going to get some time out there and he's going to hit a lot of threes and he never turns the ball over. So if you need that stat to get you over for your team, he's definitely a late round pick to throw a flyer on. The Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry. You won me my fantasy championship last year, and I love your ADP this year. I think it's like 28, 29 or something like that. It's going to be hard not to pick Steph Curry in a draft when he's not a top 12 pick. The value on that is incredible. If he stays healthy, obviously that's a big issue. Jimmy Butler, I'd stay away from. He hasn't been healthy a full season in a long time. Draymond Green, don't even think about it. You're out of your mind if you do that. And Brandon Podziemski, or I believe I'm pronouncing his name completely wrong, but I love you, brother. If you get Steph Curry, make sure you get your insurance policy with Brandon Podziemski. The Houston Rockets. Wow. This team might be the most interesting team this year in fantasy basketball. You got Kevin Durant going there. Fred VanVleet has had the boys turning into contenders. Amen Thompson is one of my favorite players in the league. Alperen Şengün is an absolute beast. These are the teams you pick from. The 2 best teams in fantasy this year, for sure, Merce, are the Atlanta Hawks and the Houston Rockets. They're going to be pushing the ball. They make sure that, one thing about both of those teams I've noticed is that, people could say what they want about Trae Young. People could try and talk about Fred VanVleet, but their teammates always ride out for them, and they also push the ball. Like I said, you push the ball, there's more tempo, you get more stats. So if you get any of those guys, Fred VanVleet is a late round pick this year. I mean, getting him late rounds in drafts is that's a super steal. So Atlanta Hawks and Houston Rockets, this isn't only Legends Allowed alert. Those are 2 teams that you need to make sure you have at least 1 player from each team on your fantasy team. If you don't, you're not going to like it when you're facing those guys in the quarterfinals or semifinals or finals of your fantasy. Just letting you know from now. The Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton is injured. The usage completely opens up. Andrew Nembhard is going to get his chance to shine. Benedict Mathurin is going to shine. He's going to be the starting 2 guard. And then TJ McConnell does what he does all the time off the bench. Talk about pace and tempo and all of that. That's what the Pacers do for sure. So there's another team that I definitely love, and you got to have one of those 3 on your team. If you want to get Isaiah Jackson because Miles Turner went to the Bucks, I understand that too. They got to play a center at some point. But Benedict Mathurin, Andrew Nembhard, and my boy TJ McConnell, those are 3 players. One of those 3 you must have on your team. LA Clippers. Should we even talk about the Clippers? Are they even going to have a team? Oh my gosh. All right, the politics for that one is too much. I'm not picking Kawhi Leonard, that's for sure. The Sharks hit the screen. Yeah, anyways, as you guys all know, being an MC and also a barber for 20 years, the Clippers are like the honorary team. We use Clippers. We have Clipperside. Kev, I love you, Bubba. But yeah, your Clippers are done. They're the most cursed team in the NBA by far, whether it's Donald Sterling or now Steve Ballmer. You guys are done. So be careful with that team. Avaka Zubac is probably the only guy I'd pick on that team just because he's always healthy, he's durable, and he's the most reliable person on that team. I love James Harden in general. He's an incredible fantasy player. I love Brook Lopez. I love John Collins, but I don't really know what's going on with those guys. I'm pretty sure Brook Lopez is going to be backing up Zubac, so Zubac is my go-to for the Clippers, and that's it. So if you get Zubac, good on you. The LA Lakers. All right, let's just get to it. We already know what Luka does. We already know what LeBron does. Austin Reeves helped me win a fantasy championship last year. Let's talk about DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton, his field goal percentage is insane. He's going to be motivated. He's playing with the guy that he got taken first overall over this generational talent, and now they're magically playing on the Lakers together. He has a lot to prove. He's going to want to stay healthy because he's going to want to get a contract once LeBron leaves and all this type of stuff. So, yeah, if you're drafting DeAndre Ayton, I don't blame you. If you get Luka, LeBron, or Austin, those guys are obviously incredible and amazing. I also love picking players from West Coast teams because they do tend to have a higher tempo. Plus, I'm always up late at night, so I get to watch the games later. But yeah, DeAndre Ayton, I think you could have a great season. So let's see what happens. Memphis Grizzlies. Oh, man. Ty Jerome got signed to them. Odd. When Scottie Pippen Jr. Helped me win a fantasy championship last year. Jaren Jackson, I believe, is injured. Santi Aldama, the Spanish matador. Okay, I don't know if that's what they call him. But Santi Aldama. When you have a Miles Turner or a Santi Aldama or a Anthony Davis that is a power forward center on your roster and hits threes, unbelievably valuable. So Santi Aldama, 1,000%, that's the guy that I will be drafting if I can from the Memphis Grizzlies. On to the Miami Heat. I don't know if you saw this, Merce, but very recently, Tyler Hero just got a surgery, so I believe he's going to miss the first part of the season. They just acquired Norman Powell, right? They got Andrew Wiggins. So Wiggins...
Jamaica. Whoa.
Shout out to Barrington Levy, still don't know. Yo, shout out to my dog, Norman Powell. Yo, big ups, Jamaica.
All right, anyways, back to business. Yeah, Norman Powell and Andrew Wiggins, I think they're going to have a lot to prove without Tyler Hero. I didn't know what to think about that situation in Miami, but now that he's injured, you really can't go wrong, especially with Norman Powell. I think he's a bit more of a gamer than Wiggins in the sense of got more to prove still, and like Wiggins got his ring, he's chilling. He's always been that calm, cool, collected, but sometimes you want that, you know what I'm saying? Oh, by the way, my little brother, Mikey Mystic, thank you so much for dropping Khalil Ware last year. He's another guy that helped me win the fantasy championship last year, along with Chris Paul and Austin Reeves and Scottie Pippen Jr. But his ADP is very high this year, so I'm a little weary of that. But he's amazing, and he's going to get a lot of blocks, great field goal percentage. He's going to get rebounds, and the Miami Heat absolutely love him and his work ethic. So I love the kid. He's great. Norman Powell, those are the two people on Miami that I'm looking out for. Bam, I love Bam, but I can't handle the not hitting threes. I'd rather just have Khalil Ware later on in the draft. The Milwaukee Bucks. Shout out to Gary Trent Jr., my guy. Miles Turner went there. I'm definitely looking to draft Miles Turner because I know I'm not going to have a top 5 pick and I'm not going to get Giannis. So Miles Turner, I hope you could stay healthy. I know you usually don't, but you got to the finals last year. You did amazing. You went to a divisional foe of yours, a divisional opponent, the Bucks. You got a lot to prove to the Pacers. So hopefully he goes off when I draft him. So Miles Turner, I got my eye on you, brother. Just stay healthy, brother. You can help me win a fantasy championship this year. And also, Gary Trent Jr. and Cole Anthony. They have no guards. Lillard's gone. Usage. When a Damian Lillard gets traded and has an injury, or when Jason Tatum or Tyrese Halliburton goes down with an injury, the usage opens up. I know I've said it already in the video, But this is super crucial when it comes to the mathematics and playing the percentages and having the highest chance of actually winning. We can like discuss hypotheticals and blah, 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 but like we all know durability is number one, but after durability, like you have to be able to study this you have to be able to study the statistics. We're going to keep that in there. Because if you got this far in the video, I love you, baby. But yeah, Miles Turner, usage going up. Cole Anthony always would randomly get triple doubles on the Magic when they'd give him some time. So yeah, Cole Anthony, Gary Trent Jr., Miles Turner, that's who I'm looking out for on the Bucks. Minnesota Timberwolves. I love Anthony Edwards, but he is such a volatile fantasy player. Rudy Gobert is solid. Julius Randle, I love him too. When it comes to Minnesota Timberwolves, there's only two people that I would consider drafting, and that's Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo. I think he can be a big steal in the late rounds this year. He's another person, still has a lot to prove. The Knicks and the Timberwolves made that trade. They both got to the conference finals. He's now going into his second season there. He embraces everywhere he goes. He's a professional. So Dante DiVincenzo, if I can't get point guard, shooting guards early, and I need to, he gets steals, he gets 3 points. He's a great field goal percentage shooter. Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid, those are the two people I'm looking out for the Minnesota Timberwolves. New Orleans Pelicans. Whoa. The biggest wild card in fantasy every season as long as Zion Williamson is on that team. I picked him on 4 out of my 5 teams last year like a lunatic. I don't know how I won with him injured and doing what he does, but he's unbelievable. I can't even vow to not take Zion Williamson in the draft because I'm a sucker. But the thing is, the only way I'm drafting him, I'm not reaching. I'm not even doing average draft player or average draft ranking. If he falls in the draft, I might take him. If I'm smart, I won't, because I know he's going to break my soul. But it's okay, no problem. Trey Murphy, that's the guy you need to get on the Pelicans. He's the man. He's a championship piece waiting to happen for an organization. It ain't going to be the Pelicans. So Trey Murphy III, I hope that you are able to get to an amazing team soon and win your championship, because you are a championship player. I know that. And you know what? Maybe that's my big, bold prediction for this video. Trey Murphy finishes as a top 20 player in fantasy this year. Yeah, I'm rolling with it. Jordan Poole went there. He got traded for C.J. McCollum. He could be shooting a lot of shots. He could be enjoying the Mardi Gras scene down there and all that BS. So he could be in a great mood and have a great season. He has a lot to prove. I know that's going to be the hashtag for this video. A lot to prove. The New York Knicks. The Clippers were in trouble. Sorry, the Clippers are in trouble, but the Knicks are looking like they're in trouble too. And yeah, maybe this is the last season that we actually get to see Jalen Brunson in a Knicks uniform, because they might have to void his contract just like they're going to have to void Kawhi's. I don't know. But let's go and pretend like none of that is going on at all. Jalen Brunson is the man. Doesn't get steals or blocks. I love him, but it's hard to pick him in fantasy even though he's an absolute beast. When it comes to average draft player rankings this year, Josh Hart is finally getting respected a bit when it comes to his ADP. At this point, he's a bit too high on it now, and I believe like OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are the two people that you could take off the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns is someone I might pick in the first round. Also, another vital piece of advice that I would like to give to everyone out there is that when you pick, whoever you pick is your first pick, that's usually, not even usually, that's who I believe you should be basing your team around. So Karl Anthony Towns is a big man that has a great field goal percentage, great free throw percentage, hits threes, gets rebounds, gets points, doesn't get blocks and steals, and he doesn't turn the ball over. So he's like a good 6 or 7 out of 9 category player, which is absolutely elite. So if I got to get Karl Anthony Towns this year in the first round in the 14-team league, I'm definitely going to do that. And then later on, Mikal Bridges is obviously a better bet because he hasn't missed a game yet. And OG Anunoby, we know how volatile his injury history is. So Those are the three that I would be looking out for on the Knicks. Oklahoma City Thunder. Shoutouts to the kid, the legend, the man, the myth, SGA. If I can get a top 5 pick and somehow draft SGA, I will be the happiest fantasy basketball player ever. Jalen Williams got his surgery on his wrist, I believe. He's on the Slam cover with the brace, I think. Chet Holmgren, never know what's going to happen with that guy. He's so talented, but I like him too, but he couldn't hit a free throw at the end of last season in my other league, Merce. Like, he was like under 50% free throw-wise. It was bad, and then he was missing games, and, you know, that skinny as a big man, like, it's a bit scary. Like, Hartenstein, like, I like Hartenstein more for his average draft ranking just because durability is the number one ability when it comes to fantasy. If they're not playing, yeah, you got to play the games, right? So that's who I'm looking out for on OKC this year. And obviously, if I can get SGA, that would be absolutely incredible. The Orlando Magic. So this is where the diabolicalness comes in. I looked at the Monday and Tuesdays, Merce, when I was outside for the 3 weeks of fantasy. So there's the last 4 weeks, but we don't do the last week because everything becomes crazy, right? So I looked up Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday for those 3 weeks. There's only 8 teams in total that play Monday and Tuesday for the start of the fantasy week. That's an ultimate cheat code. So now, if you got this far in the video,
You're about to get an ultimate cheat code from your boy.
the Magic and the Suns, out of those 8 teams that play the Monday and Tuesday, they're 4 of the 8 teams. So in week 1, Magic and Suns play on Monday and Tuesday. The second week, only the Magic. And then the third week is the Suns. So when it comes to a Banchero or when it comes to a Devin Booker, we'll get to Phoenix in a second. Let me stick to the Magic. So with the Magic, Banchero, Desmond Bane is going to do incredible out there. Franz Wagner is a beast. And Jalen Suggs is a great late-round pick. Wendell Carter Jr., I love you, buddy, but no. Just, guys, just don't do it. I know you want to. Craig, this one's for you. I know you want to draft Wendell Carter. I know you want to draft Jaren Jackson Jr. Don't do it. Don't do it. We might as well jump one team and get to the Phoenix Suns, and we'll go back to Philly in a second. So Phoenix is another one of the 2 teams with the Magic that play back-to-backs 2 times out of the 3 on the playoff weeks. That team is scary, and not in a good way. Devin Booker is obviously the man, but you drafted the kid from Duke that everyone wanted the Raptors to draft. You got Mark Williams. You trade for Mark Williams when he wasn't able to get traded to the Lakers because of health issues, but now he's getting traded in the offseason. Then you trade away Kevin Durant, and you get Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks. So you got Devin Booker, Jalen Green, and Dillon Brooks. And then Mark Williams is reunited with my boy, Nick Richards from Charlotte. They played on Charlotte together. So now you got Nick Richards, and you have Mark Williams, and you have Maluak, I believe that's his name, the young kid from Duke. It's like, what are we doing, Phoenix? Like, I want to pick someone on Phoenix because my favorite color is purple, and I love those jerseys, and I love the West Coast teams. I don't know, it's just a crazy thing that I like when it comes to fantasy basketball. But damn, Phoenix, what are you doing out there, man? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Philadelphia 76ers. Oh, man, here we go again. Embiid, don't draft Embiid. Paul George, don't draft Paul George. Guys, don't do it. Don't do it. Tyrese Maxey, we know what he does. He's amazing. We got our boy Jared McCain. Then we got Quentin Grimes, who can't get a contract, who played unbelievable last year, getting 40 nuggets all the time. 40 piece here, 50 piece here. That guy didn't give a damn, buddy. It was absolutely nuts. I don't know what to do with Philly. Who are you going to draft on Philly? Like, who's going to do what? Like, Am I going to draft Paul Reed because I know Joel Embiid is not going to play 17 games? I don't know. I don't even want to talk about Philly. Moving on. Oh, by the way, Nick Nurse, do better. Do better, Nick Nurse.
Trash.
Portland Trailblazers. Okay, this is a very interesting team. I love Tumani Kamara, or Kamara. I don't know how to pronunciate his last name. He gets all those steals, high field goal percentage. He did amazing for me in one of my leagues last year. I didn't win that league, but I love that kid. Denny Avdija, he played like a beast last year. He was unbelievable. And then we got my boy, Shaden Sharp. I love Shaden Sharp. It's going to be hard not to draft Shaden Sharp also. He's incredibly talented, and he did play really, really good at the end of last year. And, yeah, this is the year. Shaden, I expect you to be sharp this year and make us Canadians proud. I know you're going to do it. Also, anyone drafting Hansen Yang, I don't blame you. He's incredible. The kid is going to be incredible. He is the Chinese Jokic. So if you do draft him, I don't blame you. But Klingon is probably going to be the starting center. So tread lightly with that one. Okay, guys, we're down to the last 5. Let me get this video done. I know I've gotten diabolical. You're tired. I'm tired. Let's finish it off. Sacramento Kings. I don't know what to do with you guys. You're another team. What do? Do I draft Keon Ellis at the end of the draft? Who's your point guard? You have no Darian Fox. What, is DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine going to be your point guards along with Keon Ellis? Domantas Sabonis, love him. Absolute beast. Mr. Murray, love the kid. Keegan, you're an absolute stud. But that organization is in shambles, and I love the color purple, so I'm probably going to have to pick DeMar DeRozan or Keegan Murray late because DeRozan! It's DeRozan! I should put that clip up. Okay, San Antonio Spurs. There's nothing to say other than Wemby mania. That's it. He's the next GOAT. He's going to be the generational talent we're talking about that transcended everything in 20 years. And yeah, if I can get a Stephon Castle, that would be amazing because I know I'm not going to get Wemby because I'm not going to get a top 5 pick. And Darian Fox, I'm a little scared with that situation with him because they drafted Dylan Harper and he's a left-handed younger guard and they just got him, but there's rumors that, I don't believe the rumors, but they're saying there's tremblings that Fox, they might actually trade Fox, which would be nuts because they think, oh, it might not work chemistry-wise, but they haven't even played a full season together, so that makes no sense. So Stephon Castle, you're probably the only person that I think I would be able to pick up in the draft because Fox is so high in the rankings and Wemby is Wemby, and I know I'm not getting a top 5 pick. So Stephon Castle maybe, and I still can't believe that the Spurs traded the 8th pick and didn't pick Matas Pazulis. That's crazy. The final 3, the Toronto Raptors, our hometown team, Merce. Who do you like? Who do you like for the Raptors this year? I think Grady is one person I love when it comes to just like later in the draft. Scotty, I hope he does what he does. But Ingram, I won't lie, Merce, I don't have faith in Ingram. I think he's coming here to collect a check. That's a sounds like a pretty accurate prognostication if you ask me. Yeah, I love our boys. They're amazing, but like, yeah, maybe Jakob Poeltl, you know, he's the man. Yeah, and maybe Emmanuel Quickly, you know, as long as they play the games and they don't tank again. You know, the fact that they were allowed to go back and forth and rest games with Barrett and Quickly and Poeltl last year, like that was super weird. Like you got 4 games in a week and you're playing every other game, but then you're not allowing other teams to tank, but we were purposely tanking and then we got a garbage pick. Yeah, that's what we get, buddy. That's what we get. All right, final 2. Oh, the Washington Wizards. This is an interesting one, Merce, because there's a young man by the name of Cam Whitmore who slipped in the draft 2 years ago and got traded to Washington in the offseason. And they're very stacked at all these positions, but he's an unbelievable talent, so I'm definitely looking out for him. And my boy Bilal Coulibaly, or whatever his name is. I'm not saying any of these guys' names right, so I feel horrible. But Yes, Cam Whitmore is my guy. Chris Middleton and CJ McCollum. Don't draft. They're collecting a check. Alexander Sarr, or Alexandre Sarr, my French brother. He's another incredible player. He'll get you blocks. I believe him and Miles Turner are close when it comes to average draft ranking. So if you want, you go pick someone on the Wizards. It's going to be Alexander Sarr, or it's going to be Bilal, or it's going to be my boy Cam Whitmore. If you pick one of those three, you're doing well. Cam Whitmore is definitely my favorite player on that team this year in fantasy basketball. I love Sarr also. And Bilal is incredible when it comes to steals, and hopefully he has a breakout season. So, yep, Washington Wizards. I don't like picking players from garbage teams, but that's also a part of fantasy. There's always going to be usage and people that do well even on garbage teams, so you got to pay attention to that. And last but not least, I got the alphabetical order wrong. It was actually Washington Wizards last, not Utah Jazz, but whatever. Because we're not picking anyone from the Jazz, even though I love the color purple. It's my favorite color. And I know I've said it 3 or 4 times in this video. I've repeated a lot in this video. But you've got to the end with me. And if you watch this video as many times as you want and study it, all those gems are there for you. I promise you that I love the game of basketball more than you could ever know. I study this stuff more than anyone that I know. And last year I won for a reason. I had Scottie Pippen Jr. off the waivers. I had Khalil Ware off the waivers. I had Chris Paul, who played 82 games last year. And I had Austin Reeves. Those are the people that win you your leagues. You know, Sam Hausers of the world, your Cam Whitmores of the world, your Dante DiVincenzo's of the world. These are the people in fantasy that win you your leagues, because you have to make sure that every single player on your team adds value. You can do that. You don't have to have a filler. There can't be fillers. If you're going to win, you can't have fillers. And also, a random note for the end of this video, picking Kyrie Irving, if anyone wants to do that and they have an IL, like the IL spots in their league, you know, you do the draft. If it's a 12-team league and no Cam Whitmore is taken and you know that, you can go after you draft Kyrie Irving, put him on the IL, and then you go pick up Cam Whitmore right away. Do stuff like that. Get strategic, get diabolical, and good luck to all of you on your fantasy basketball seasons. I hope I made you proud with this video. Shout outs to my big brother Merce for always putting up with my BS. And I look forward to seeing you in the finals, DJ Merciless, because you got all this valuable information first. It's hola, baby. We're out. Tabernacle 321. Yeah.